Good morning and welcome to another edition of the Daily Fix. I am your usual host and presenter, Advocate Tulo Hoyane. So, yesterday in court, we had Judge Ratha say that he had read the record. I am very dissatisfied by this. Judge Ratha told us that he had read the record, and clearly that is an admission by him that he brought a preconceived, bias into this trial. Judge Ratha, I maintain, should know better than to be reading records prior to his presiding over any trial, especially the Senzo Meyiwa trial that you are dealing with. Now, let us ponder and ask ourselves, what then is left under the circumstances? Because, it is just no good to say, all right, Judge Ratha made this blunder. What are the implications for the administration of justice? What are the implications for the trial itself? In other words, the fate of the 5 people facing murder charges in the Pretoria High Court. Him having read the record can only mean one thing. It means Judge Ratha cannot be trusted to be impartial in this trial. By reading the record, he ensured that he comes into this trial prepared. That is the idea that he wanted to give us. In other words, he said, remember the context in which he said this. Advocate Nish was saying, the record is quite bulky and I have to read it. Nishi also indicated that it's not even numbered and so on and so forth. But Judge Ratha said, no, that's a good thing for you because you have to read the record to give, your client, a proper legal defense. And he also said, you see, when I came into this trial after the Chifuwa my Maumela trial collapsed or came to an end, I had read the record in the Chifuwa Maumela trial. This is devastating news. Now, I've just said a short while ago, what should be done? The only thing to be done now by the defense, when the trial resumes on the 14th of April, is for Judge Ratha Mokhatlin to recuse himself. Now, what is a recusal? A recusal is an application that can be made at any stage of any trial by the defense or anybody affected by developments in the trial. But in this instance, this recusal application has to be made by the defense. Now, what form does a recusal application take? They must make this recusal application before the judge himself. To say in that recusal application, you cannot be impartial in this trial, given the fact that by your own admission, you have told us that you have read this record before you came into this trial. In other words, your mind was tainted one way or the other by reading that record. And we do not trust you to bring an impartial mind into these proceedings. That is the first priority that the defense must embark upon. Having done that, the judge will then have to make a ruling on that matter. How the ruling goes is not very important. In all likelihood, and my experience has taught me, Judge Ratha Mokhatlin will dismiss that recusal application and he will likely not admit that he is actually biased or cannot bring an impartial, mind into this trial. If the recusal application is denied, the defense must immediately launch an appeal to the Supreme Court of Appeal in Bloemfontein. We cannot have a judge preside over a trial and over a period of time. Everybody, I don't even have to quote actual incidents because there are so many to enumerate here. We have seen how he has been conducting this trial, and surely that is not the conduct of an impartial judge that we have seen. His, lack of impartiality or his bias to be direct to the prosecution has been so obvious. Now, if that recusal application is denied by him, which I said in all likelihood he will do, the only option is the Supreme Court of Appeal sitting in Bloemfontein. That will be a very unfortunate consequence for the Senzo Meyiwa trial. Remember, this trial has been running for years and years and years and years. Or at least Senzo was, killed 11 years ago. And it does not look like, Judge Ratha will finish this trial anytime soon. But you see, the major consideration here is not just to rush through the motions of a trial. The idea here is to get a fair trial. That is what the Constitution demands. That is what the Meyiwa family is looking forward to. That is what the accused persons before that court are looking forward to. They are looking forward to a fair trial, to which they are entitled. And a fair trial is not a privilege. It is a right guaranteed by the Constitution of South Africa. So that recusal application will mean more delays for the trial. But for the sake of achieving justice, that is the only route to go. Because if this thing is just, swept under the carpet and we just go through the motions of a trial that is manifestly being conducted by a judge who has told us that he has not brought an impartial mind into the proceedings, how then does anybody have confidence in the judge to conduct a fair trial? And it has even come out very clearly that on a number of occasions, he has been seen to be leaning towards the prosecution. I have said, for instance, whenever objections are made in court, Judge Ratha does not make any ruling. Take Munisi, for instance. Munisi has made countless objections. Judge Ratha will just listen to the other side. Munisi will make his point, will make his objection. After that, Baloyi will then respond. Once Baloyi has responded, that is the end of the matter. Judge Ratha treats the whole thing as if nothing has happened. And the trial just goes on, and there's no decision on or no ruling on the objections raised by either Munisi or any other of the defense lawyers. So my own feeling, my own assessment of the judgment is that this is not a fair trial. This judge must be removed from this trial. Unfortunately, we might be going for a third judge in this trial. This is a very disturbing development. And for the Senzo Meyiwa, family, I really sympathize with the Meyiwa family because it will mean more and more delays to try and achieve justice. But I think the delays have already been here. It will not help just to, move full steam ahead to go through the trial when it is manifestly clear that this trial is anything but a fair trial. So having said this, my only conclusion is Judge Ratha Mokgwatleng must be removed from this trial as soon as possible. That is the only remedy. Another judge must be found who's going to conduct a proper trial. Remember, we still have misgivings about whether the people, facing trial in the Pretoria High Court are the right people. Judge Ratha must be removed from that trial. And once he's removed from that trial, we must then go back to the issue of whether the docket, right, which is the subject matter of this trial, is the right docket. We still have to explore why 375 is not before this court. And I think this is the right time. If this trial was to be, you know, or if Judge Ratha was to be removed, we can then explore the possibility of perhaps instituting a trial along, based on the narrative of 375, which is the only right narrative, that there were intruders into that house. So having said that, my feeling is that Judge Ratha must go. I realize also that there are a lot of concerns about that million signature campaign. I held it off a little bit because I didn't want to start it too far away from, the resumption of the case. But I see your concerns, and let me give you an assurance that the link will be ready very soon. Let me fix up that link. And the date now is a fixed date. Remember, you did not have a fixed date. The 14th of April, when that trial resumes, will be the day on which those of you who can make it will march on the Pretoria High Court to say, justice for Senzo. Doesn't matter how many of us will be there. It can be 5, 10, 20 people. It does not matter. Even if I have to do it alone, I will do it alone. But it has to be done. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'm very pleased by the views that I'm seeing and the subscriptions. And like I always implore you these days, please don't skip those videos. Those videos, like I would always say, keep the home fires burning. Please bear with us, watch the video, and move on with the video. And I will bring you content that no other channel will bring you in South Africa. Thank you very much for watching this video, and have a nice day.